without the aid of caution flags, Dale Earnhardt and Cale Yarborough were the front runners. Earnhardt suffered engine failure. When Elliott passed Yarborough to unlap himself and then passed him again for the lead, the race was history. It is conceivable that with the pace Elliott was forced to run, he would have left the field twice were it not for the long pit stop. As Elliott streaked to victory, Kyle Petty passed Yarborough for second place. With Elliott's fourth superspeedway win of the year behind him, all eyes turn now to Charlotte Motor Speedway and a possible $1 million payoff in the World 600.
I'm sure the Winston Million is another one of our goals, and I just want to stay competitive. That's the biggest thing, our biggest goal.
From Alabama International Motor Speedway, for Motorweek Illustrated, I'm Benny Phillips.
I'll say competitive. Elliott averaged 186 miles an hour, 9 more than the previous record for a 500-mile race. Ford swept 4 of the top 5 spots, that brand's best Grand National day since 1969. Now, despite 4 wins in 8 races, Elliott is still third in the point standings. The ever-consistent Grand National champion Terry Labonte holds the lead. Several top NASCAR team owners received a phone call early this week canceling a promised trip to Las Vegas. Florida businessman Ron Howard, host of the trip, says his proposed plans to buy those teams will have to wait until he works out some details with NASCAR.
ARCA stock car driver Ken Reagan is expected to recover from a broken neck suffered last Saturday at Talladega. Reagan was leading the Permatex 500-kilometer event with 10 laps to go when he apparently hit some oil, lost control, and pounded the outside wall virtually head-on. A cracked neck vertebra and several broken ribs are expected to keep Reagan sidelined for the season. Davey Allison inherited the lead and held off point leader Lee Raymond the rest of the way for Allison's first win of the ARCA Supercar season. His Buick the only non-Chevy in the top 5. The NASCAR Modifieds were in New Jersey last weekend. Steve Potter reports.
One thing you can be sure of when the NASCAR Modifieds come to New Egypt, near my house. Watch the right side of your screen as Doug Hebron takes to the air to finish second and make the tail end of the feature field. Early in the feature, one of the favorites, Jimmy Spencer, number 24, backs it into the turn 3 wall. On the restart, number 26, George Kent and local favorite Tony Siscone, 14, battle for the lead. Perennial modified champ Richie Evans, number 61, is looking for a way past third place Brian Ross. Evans finds it, and then Ross, number 69, spins. Watch second place Siscone get launched as he bulls his way past leader Kent. Half a lap later, the leaders wreck, and Kent is done for the day. 10 laps left. Now watch this move. In heavy traffic, Evans in the orange car goes 3 wide to pass Siscone and take the win. From New Egypt, New Jersey, this is Steve Potter reporting.
There was all-pro action as well last Saturday under the lights at Hialeah Speedway in Florida. 4 laps to go in the Hank the Crank 250. Steve Grissom tries the outside pass on leader Darrell Brown. He winds up facing the wrong way on the infield. That was all the lead Brown needed to crank out his second win of the year over a badly banged-up Ron McCreary. 2 of Brown's 3 career victories have now come on the Hialeah Oval.
And Jim Roller will join us with Camel GT action right after this.
Dave, my favorite racetrack in the world is Laguna Seca Raceway. There's something for everyone at Laguna, whether it be the charm of the sea lions, the awe-inspiring coastal scenes, or the red-hot action, of which there was plenty. Led by pole sitter Bob Wallach, the top 5 qualifiers broke the track record. But what shaped up as a titanic battle turned into a survival test. One by one, cars fell by the wayside. For pole sitter Wallach, it was a blown turbo that ended his day. Other disappointed victims, early leader John Paul. A broken suspension kept the string of bad luck going for Phil Conti's Buick March. They've yet to finish a 1985 race. And the long-awaited debut of the new Ford Probe ended with another disappointment. No fuel. Streak away from the lone challenge of Bob Tullius and Chip Robinson in the Jaguar number 44. It was a win that Hobart gave to his crew.
It's easy to say now, but if we hadn't won, I think we still could have looked back and said we had fun, and this is just perfect for me and all my friends.
Hobart cruised to a 24-second victory as the 2 Group 44 Jaguars and BF Goodrich Porsches followed home in formation. Other notable class winners included Dennis Ossie, who broke the Roush Mustang win streak with a new GTO Toyota, and Bill Alsop, who took his first road racing win in 5 years. Best finish of the weekend, though, goes to Parker Johnstone, who started celebrating inside his car before he got the checkers. It was that close after 20 laps, nose to tail with Lance Stewart. You can see all that Laguna Seca action in a Diamond P Sports production, May 26th at 11 a.m. and June 22nd at 9:30 a.m. on the Nashville Network. And bad news this week for one GTP competitor. Neil Diatley announced he'll no longer field a Camel GT car for last year's Trans Am Rookie of the Year, Darren Brassfield. Diatley's Budweiser sponsorship didn't come through.
Thank you, Jim. Next Sunday, you'll see the Camel GT live on TBS Sports. Exclusive flag-to-flag coverage of Series Round 7 at Charlotte Motor Speedway begins at 12:35 Eastern Time, right here on Superstation WTBS. Well, that race drew 80,000 fans last year, the largest crowd in Camel GT history. Now our weekly review of Grand Prix racing on the Beatrice Formula One Report. Steve Potter describes Sunday's action at Imola, Italy.
Fuel restrictions determined the key strategies in the San Marino Grand Prix. Sophomore sensation Ayrton Senna chose to charge out front with Lotus teammate Elio De Angelis close behind. But De Angelis slowed with turbo problems that would eventually prove a blessing in disguise, and crowd favorite Michele Alboreto in the red Ferrari moved up to challenge Senna. That challenge ended with a blown engine, and McLaren's Alain Prost took over second. For several laps, he tried without success to force Senna into a mistake. Finally, Prost slowed to conserve fuel. There were two major crashes. Andrea de Cesaris flew off the track backwards, taking a hard lick, and his Ligier teammate Jacques Lafitte left the race in flames. Both were unhurt. Up front, Senna streaked away as if his fuel supply were endless, and Stefan Johansson, in only his second race for Ferrari, was also charging. He came from 15th on the grid to second behind Senna. Then, with 3 laps to go, Senna's tank runs dry, and Johansson sweeps into the lead, capping a brilliant drive, but he runs out of gas. It's the conservative Prost who creeps across the line first, only to run out of fuel on the cool-off lap. For Motorweek Illustrated, this is Steve Potter reporting.
Alain Prost ran out of fuel and luck in that race. His McLaren was declared 5 pounds under the minimum weight limit and disqualified. That gave Elio De Angelis the win. His early turbo problems actually conserved fuel, allowing him to take second and the eventual victory. De Angelis leads the World Championship standings, while Prost is tied for 4th. A widely reported McLaren protest was denied this week when our Andrew Marriott visited the McLaren shop.
Do you believe you've had fair justice? I mean, you've been thrown out of the race but for 2 kilos. It's very little.
Without question. We have no argument at all with FISA or the regulations. They're there. We infringe them. We have to swallow the medicine and just ensure that it doesn't happen again.
Well, I went to the motorcycle races last weekend. That report right after this.